sort of find his roles within that roster. Individually a very talented player, but it feels like he's now playing such different CS. Cadian kind of really did have to pick up the mantle in a lot of those key rounds, and I think that's something that you can't rely on as too much. Obviously, world-class player for what he is, but you want him to definitely have the stars in that roster to shine.
Yeah, it kind of feels like since Yakinda took the IGL role, he's not quite been the same player, but that's a different team. That's a different side of the bracket in the here. We have Bestia and Wildcard, 1-0 lead. Wildcard picked up their choice of Mirage 13-9, and now they start on the CT side of Anubis with Bestia getting up close and personal on B main.
T-side start then. Ooh, we know they're good on it, but will they even have a chance to show us that in the pistol as they are being mauled by Sonic? Again, it's this duo of Sonic and Stanislaw that slap them out of the sight. Infinite finds the headshot onto Noxy, and Deco realizes that he's in a 1v5 already.
Holy, that was crisp, that was clean and comfortable. Deco's anticipating an A main push around the back. Of course, he doesn't have the benefit of knowing that all 5 of the CTs are locked on the site together. I mean, he doesn't even really have anything to save in terms of going into the next round. He has no Kevlar, by the looks of things. So he's going to run and die on this push and try and cause as much mayhem as possible. But yeah, this round is a done deal, Jackie. I mean, surely he can't clutch this.
No, absolutely not. You know what hurts as well is it comes back to our initial talking point even before the series kicked off. We were saying like Bestia's win rate on pistols is ridiculously high. Yeah. They're damn good for them. Previous map, you kind of asked that question of like, if they lose both of the pistols, what happens? We saw how that unfolded in the end with the overall score. Into this one as well. That's a 3rd pistol that goes the way of Wildcard.
And it was not a single kill picked up and barely a scratch on the surface of any of the collective players. I think they did about 20 damage between 2 or 3 players in that entire round. It was complete and utter carnage.
Ooh. Nice seeing it back on the replays as well. It's a very crispy one taps. Pistol round dead and buried though. Bestia sticking to the Glocks on this one. Just let the round tick on by, so what you can do, hopefully don't get farmed up by the SMGs, as there's 3 of them in play for Wildcard, and they're going to be looking to headhunt, build up the bank from the investment.
I do wonder as well if Noxy is going to get the same treatment that Slacks received on the T side of Anubis with the AWP, having very little opportunities to really offer too much. Jump across, try and draw some fire away, but it's Slight that's going to be showing up, and Sonic from Temple side. And yeah, the gauntlet has been placed into position. There was the 1 kill and a dink as well. Molotov behind is going to stop Noxy and allow Slight to go in for that wide swing. Oh, he gets blocked by his teammates.
Oh no.
Oh dear.
You could just see it on the POV, turns around, it's just like, boys, please.
Let me out.
Just a firing line of CTs grouped up.
We've all been there before.
You're blocking me!
2 plays there.
The way Sonic moves around the front to take the fight as well. Oh, God. Oh, Ruthless. Won't matter, though. Won't matter. We get into the real game now. Bestia actually have the cash to splash. So weapons are brought to the table. Galil's piecing together the buy where needed. Utility is there for them. But what is the real play? What are we going to be seeing here? Down towards Dark already. 2 CTs pushing out through it and taking map control quickly.
So behind the smoke, HE up onto the rugs, but Deco was playing a little bit more passively. And this is that aggression that we were discussing before. The CT side allows you to push out of Dark, to push out of A main. Hell, even get aggressive through mid and drop down into the canals if you're feeling it. And I'm sure Wildcard are feeling it. The way that they set things alight in the pistol and how they ended Mirage. I have the utmost confidence in their abilities to take the fight to the T. Smoke has been deployed onto Dark, so Sonic can focus his attention onto B main for the time being. This is allowing Luchov to get up close now in the canals.
Exchange of Molotovs. Both of them at the same time. Forces each other back, but it's a lot more damage done onto Luchov. You're going to hear the sizzling as well. as he was forced to retreat. Rest of the T's group up now towards A main. No one playing close contact. They're up towards heaven. Slight with a rifle. They've got nades for this as well.
All the grenades tossed out, preceding the push. Flash is good, but it's going to clear away in a few moments, and Slide's going to be given the opportunity, but he misses. He needed to get that kill so desperately, and JBL will make amends, but it will not deny the bomb plant with 15 seconds left.
Bomb down, 4v4. Luchov looking to take the strike towards camera, can jump up onto the angle if he needs to fight as well. Noxy also doubles up towards the bomb site, and A main is controlled for the T side. Thomasin, he's waiting to let it rip, but his teammate in Luchov is hit from the side swipe. Noxy, will they clear the angle? Tries to turn and play a little bit more towards the anti-flash, but his entire team is being mauled. JBA on re-entry burns them up.
Man, when you consider that Slight missed that opportunity and then allowed the T's to spill into the site, you thought at that point, right, it's a done deal. That re-engage, the confidence to go for that in these bottleneck positions, but win out on the duels. And it was all preempted by this GBA spray with the MP9. If he dies in heaven, that's probably the round that goes with him. But he goes full circle to get the AK kills. And you can see that Slight, that's passion, but it's also a bit of relief, because he nearly whiffed this round.
Yeah, it was a bit of a rough spray on the contact in. Did so much damage, but couldn't confirm the kill. Ooh, change of pace as well. I mean, it's a deep Molotov towards A main to try and repel this exact setup from the T side. But they're just barreling in. They're looking for the frags, and Deco hits the first. Okay, they've got an entry here, Vince.
Smoke down onto the stairway, so Stanislaus is going to try and wiggle his way down, but he also has a player behind him. And Sonic elsewhere, dealing fatal damage to Luchov. Stanislaus is still alive and still pretty healthy as well in amongst these smokes. A Slight takes down Thomasin. The bomb is only just being planted, so there's tons of time left on the clock, but do they think that this is a B-sided play? No, they're re-engaging through the beach and trying to wrap around the side. Noxy's going to get tested here. The even trade back and forth, still going to favor Wildcard, as Mayan's position should be known in a couple of moments with that flashbang is good. Could it be another successful retake? Could it be Bestia being broken, being shattered again?
Well, Noxy, he plays through the smoke towards camera and rips the head off of Stanislaus, and time is now ticking. Slight jumps on the bomb, needs his teammate to defend him, has to get the reposition to deny the defuse with such little time left. Sonic is stone cold and snips the wire, stealing away the fourth.
Stone cold killer on 7 and 0, keeping the pace from Mirage. That is 2 back-to-back clutches, 2 back-to-back retakes, but this one is going to sting so much more, Jackie, because the time was so low. They had really good post-plant positions, double stacking on the beach side, and still lose out. This is a wild card with a point to prove. They took that 13-1 drubbing yesterday personally.
And now they're giving it straight back. So much aggression on display over the course of 4 rounds on their CT side. They've been pushing. They've been snatching away anything they can garner. And again, into this one, they set it up with aggressive B main control, allowing the rotations towards A early, and boy, do they need it, because they're bleeding out through mid. BESTIA are setting themselves up for another split push on A with camera control.
Yeah, funneling their way, 2 players down here. Stanislaus takes the first point of call, takes in 1. Even trades back and forth. It's going to be another post plant more than likely, but the bomb still needs to get retrieved. As done just now. Infinite though, no one watching heaven. They had no idea that he could be in that position. It's a freebie kill.
Man, he's looking to do the same straight back to them. He's got the bomb in his hands, but knows he has a ton of time to work with. Looking to get another pick, equalize the situation before anything else. If Infinite oversteps and doesn't clear it, it should be the tripwire, and that's exactly what it is. But Sonic, he waits the strike, weaves his way in through camera and punishes Mayan. Really being baited here to focus all his attention on one man, but swing from the side from Slight. He's been hitting the moneymakers with the AWP, and again, it pays off.
Mate, this is a 5-0 scoreline that could easily be like 3-2 in Bestia's favor. Like, it really does not paint the full picture of how ridiculously close these last 3 rounds have been. All of it being on the A side. Clearly, they feel like this is the site that they need to exploit, but allowing Infinite that freebie pick to turn it into a 2-on-3 had damning repercussions for the rest of the round. Warden's loving it. Stanislaus loving it. But it does feel like Wildcard are just a couple of missteps away from being broken, and BESTIA can get on a string of rounds themselves. And Wildcard will know that, as do BESTIA. Tactical timeout has been called. And it's a tough one to say, Jackie, because typically in a 5-0, we're thinking, right, you have to start being proactive. You have to start pushing certain sites. BESTIA have had success breaking onto the site. It's just been holding it that's been the problem.
That's a new one. That's quite nice. Good transition there. We'll see how it goes in the game, though. Straight back into the 6th round. Can they break them with the Tech 9s? Like you say, they're finding the welcome mat to make their way out towards the A site, but just cannot defend against the retakes. The play off one another for Wildcard has been relatively flawless. Heads-up plays hitting their shots as well. Slight on the AWP has been a real bane of existence for them, but he's forced off of the camera angle, plays behind the Molotov and still delivers. Sonic with one, but eventually slain towards Dark. The second AWP from Infinite. Now it gets a chance at the shooting gallery.
Oh, flick across for that secondary AWP. The Deagle's going to rattle a couple of shots, but nothing is landing. And Deco has to use that AK and try and stave off the push, but both of the AWPs having impacted Stanislaw with the backstab. And Wildcards, one of their most one-sided, decisive rounds. And it's on the B side of the map. Maybe that is why BESTIA just feel compelled to constantly hit A. They're having no success elsewhere.
Ruthless gameplay so far from Wildcard. They have been the ace up the sleeve in this series. Noxy finally bigs out the big guns. Strikes onto Dark and takes down one. Sonic is there in his place though, and he was debating whether or not he wanted to break the smoke and instantly look for a trade. It instead plays for the safe game, backing off towards the site with the weapon.
Yeah, I think you just saw confidence meet reality there for a second. He's like, I am playing out of my mind, but I really shouldn't though. I want to, but I really shouldn't. Because if I die, that's the round that goes with it. And he's playing for the team, not himself. Wise decision. Could end up proving to be the correct decision as well, as he's watching down into Dark, going to be throwing a grenade in there. Tons of damage to Luchov, down to 41. And what will be a bit of a concerning sign here is that Thomasin is yet to get off the mark. He's still on 0 kills.
You need Thomasin to come alive to give them the extra backbone, the extra strength to BESTIA. Timing was tight towards the A main push. Contact walk up for both of the CTs with Slight and JBA playing together. Nades come through, everyone scarpers, and they look to reposition. Bomb is still on the back of Mayan, and he's grouping up outside of A still, but they want to put focus on this connector control. Down towards Dark, you've got to get the frag though. With Stanislaw being able to hit the head of Luchov, it makes it so much harder. They're still going to commit to the split push out towards A.
Oh, time is so low. JBA only needs one, but he can't muster up that. Thomasin's off the mark. JBA is going to be disappointed. He couldn't at least muster up the strength for a lowly kill onto the site. And that insta-peek from Noxy should seal the deal for this round. We've seen so many retakes on A, but this is a bridge too far. And Wildcard will be saving. There was another one, though, where Wildcard, they did have a couple of chances to snatch this round as well.
Yeah, it looked like it was falling back in their hands. The A main connector push. Everything looked like it was going to pay off for them. But the round itself is at least one of many that you're going to need to win in the BESTIA camp. Denying one of the save weapons at least, so only 3 of them will be able to get away here. 2 players safe for the CT side can piece together the economy. Good cash and a couple players as well, so Slight won't have to worry about the AWP. They can always go back into the 2 if they want them, or just stick to the rifles, dropping one over.
Thing is though, only the 1 round on your T side of Anubis thus far. That is bleak. You're feeling like it's going to have to be a minimum of at least 5. Maybe you could get away with 4. But when you consider that some of those very aggressive, loose cannon style players, the Infinites and Sonics, are playing this well, you assume that that T side is going to pack a serious punch.
You think so? With how aggressive they've already been. Looks like they're very confident here on Anubis. It's been a battleground for them. They're just taking control of whatever they want. If it's pushing out Dark, if it's pushing out B main, fighting close towards A main, they're always putting the pressure on and making it uncomfortable for the Ts. A lot of audio cues here, making you believe this is a play towards the A side, but they're not quite going over the threshold. They were waiting for the rest of the squad to arrive. And Stanislaw, he's going to swing in off the contact. JBA good for 2, and the backup does more damage. Tomazin arrives on the server with a #1, but can he clean up? Oh, it's a rough spray, but he at least connects at the end there.
Smokes could afford them the safe passage of a bomb plant, especially his main has gone in and satiated his bloodlust for the moment. Bring it down into a 2-on-2, 50 seconds on the clock. Thomas in the smoke. Shot from the AWP slightly goes awry, and they're going to try and spring in for the plant, but here comes Sonic. Here comes the Doomsayer himself. And he's bypassed the grenade. Slide's also dealt with Mayan, and it's going to be easy pickings. The South African secures a 7th round. And again, it's deja vu. BESTIA get on the A side, they get the plant, but then they lose the retake.
The story always has the same ending, it feels. Can't contend in these retakes. Wildcard just being a step ahead every time. BESTIA again forced to use the tactical timeout here. Use that time to talk and figure out what you do. Coming into Anubis, Vince, we've also learned what JBA stands for. Just be annihilating. That's what he does, it seems.
Yeah, he's had a lot of impactful rounds, hasn't he? A couple of rounds where maybe he could have done slightly better, but some ways went above and beyond what could have been expected of him. And it's looking pretty bleak. Again, this is an elimination match. BESTIA losing the first map. If they lose this, they're done. There will be no CS2 Major available for them. It will be 4th time a curse at the Americas RMRs.
How do you fix this? What's the change in the game? The early utilities, there's a lot of damage at least. 2 players on that CT side taking a little bit of damage, but they pushed out. They have full confidence in the fact that with the smoke set up, you can take complete control. You've Molotov off carpets, you've got the smoke down towards theirs, bled your way out through dark. You've basically got the entire map in the palm of your hands already.
Yeah, this is hot off the back of timeout where BESTIA are trying to get themselves back on track, back on board. You just throw out the wild haymaker here from Wildcard's perspective. If you stick the landing, it could be the KO. Deco, a dangerous game of cat and mouse, but he does get the upper hand onto JBA. No annihilation this round at least, and a flick from Slight, not quite connecting. Spray from Sonic is going to keep them in this round just about, but there's too many players for him to deal with. So it seems like BESTIA will taste success for the 2nd time on Anubis. And maybe that aggression from Wildcard ended up being their detrimental downfall.
They've had some tenacious defense. Into this one, it was all about the offense, and it doesn't work out. B-side crumbles away to dust here on Anubis. BESTIA, turn 1 to 2. Still, for the T side of the map, they need so much more. And opportunities to garner any of those rounds have fallen to the wayside. We're towards the end of this first half now. With how Wildcard have been playing, you imagine they'll be able to keep this one close the whole way through to the bitter end of the first half.
Terrorists win.
Yes, it's kind of like what I was alluding to before about this idea of going for a bit of a loose haymaker. The problem is, though, that typically you're going to do that when your economy is in such a good spot that you can bounce right back. That's not the case here on the side of Wildcard. This is where a lot of those post plants, those 2v2, 3v3s, is going to come back to haunt them. With the save weapon, they may be able to scrap together a buy, but I spotted a couple of players around $1,400 or $1,500. So MP9s, 5.7s, still more than capable of breaking back BESTIA and hurting them. But a real chance here for BESTIA to maybe get into like a 7-5, 8-4 scoreline, and we may not be done at that point. We saw them come back from a big deficit on Mirage. At one point, it was looking incredibly one-sided. We know they're tenacious.
Yeah, they certainly are. It's rounds like this, though, where you've got to withstand the test of the unexpected. Sonic, he's had so much confidence in these plays to just walk his way out through B main. That 5-7, if it gets close, it's so scary. Flashbang over the top, beheads him. The guillotine comes down, and it's good for 2.
Well done, man. That's well played. Didn't panic, didn't get desperate, just held his line. Believed in his aim, as will Deco. Slight caught in 2 separate positions. That 5-7, Arai does finally get his kill and is able to keep alive in heaven. And Infinite's hearing footsteps through middle, so he can try and rummage around the back and try and get involved on this one. Flashbang in, but Slight gets punished. And that should be the round falling into place. I don't think Infinite wants any part of this. Instead, he's going to try and save. So 3 rounds now to the Argentinians.
Bit by bit, finding an opportunity into the game. Meanwhile, for Infinite, it's just about scavenging, seeing what you can extract from this round. Bit of utility, and the big old M4. Got the coalition in his hands. He'll keep that in play. The round, though, translated across. The T side at least getting a bit of momentum going towards the tail end of the half. Looking to defend and stay alive with the gun after winning from that first fight. Should be good for it now.
Yeah, a little bit more damage inflicted as well as a parting gift to Bestia. But Wildcard don't really have anything at their disposal behind that M4. So curious to see what kind of play they're going to go for here. If maybe they go for a hero play and try and facilitate Infinite on some kind of push. If they sit back and try and maybe stack one site with the 4 USPs and P250s and allow Infinite to play maybe a site by himself. Oh, they're calling a timeout to discuss that right now.
I've got the benefit of being able to have built so many rounds before they even felt tested as well that you can burn one of these timeouts now and still feel pretty comfortable that if it gets a bit dicey towards the tail end, you've still got a couple more to work with if you ever do need that extra perspective to kind of talk about things, figure out what has to be changed. This is where it could have got really rough as well. The difference if you actually take Mayan down there, upgrade onto the AK. As soon as that 5-7 gets close, it's always so terrifying.
Yeah, he played it really well. He actually used his angles, realizing they'd have to run into his crosshair. So he didn't try and overpeak or get too antsy. There's also, as far as he's concerned, like maybe a 3rd or 4th player also pushed simultaneously. So just playing it really safe. In terms of this round, it is going to be a case of 4 stacking on B and playing Infinite alone on the A main side. We saw Vinny have tons of success in this position, but he turned his back. It was the smoke, not the flash, and he got baited out by that position.
Totem pole has been brought to the table. JBA being the top of the pillar, Sonic on the bottom. If you spam your way into Sonic, the other player on top will drop down into your crosshair, but it's the off angle, the cheeky pixel peeks that gives the game away. Molotov's dashed out, JBA goes aggro with a silence USP. They're causing problems with the pistols, and it keeps on coming. JBA living a high life.
That 5-7's now trained onto Dark. If they walk in here, Sonic can punish them. 1 kill across the Sonic. If he can double up, this would be outrageous. The USP from JBA comes in and he's still healthy, 90 HP. There was 1 AK, 1 5-7, and 3 USPs, and Bestia may be on the brink of losing this round, but Noxy holds his resolve. He holds his nerve. It was anything but clean, but they get a 4th.
JBA. Whew. That's a sick round with a pistol. Him and Sonic playing off together really nicely there. God damn. Lot of damage. Lot of damage. Barely clinched by BESTIA in the dying moments of that round. Heads up decision to throw away the AWP, grab the AK, win the 1v1. Scavenges the weapon at the end there. Brings it back into the next. Noxy has been finding his impact. It's rounds like this where you've got to deliver.
Smoke and Molly evenly traded out. Battle for Dark continues. But considering that this was a complete stuffing early on, Wildcard well and truly in the lead, 4 rounds with a potential 5th, means that game is back on, regardless of what happens in this round. That second pistol going to be of the utmost importance. ODDIK's going to try and get aggressive here, try and beat the timing of these smokes and flashes as they rip on through. JBA is here with Stanislaw. We've been in this same position many a time, and it's typically gone in favor of Wildcard. This time may be different. 2 clean entries. Stanislaw will at least firmly push back Luchov, but a post plant coming in.
Bomb has been planted.
Bomb down. 3 versus 3. Slight with the wall bang. Strikes onto Thomasin and slays the man, dropping it down into a huge advantage. It's all on Noxy. The AWP dawning into the round now. Strikes one. He's going to be peeked from heaven soon. Trying to play on the left-hand side of the pillar. Debating whether or not he slipped onto the site. A near miss. Time ticking away. Wields it like a shotgun. Bombards his way through one, but he's bypassed him. Slight jumping all over the place like a bunny rabbit. It's caught him off guard and he jumped straight on it for the defuse.
Played it really well. As you said, he was leaping back and forth, and you could see he was trained in with his scope, and he had no idea where he was going to get peeked from. Really, really well played in the end. But how many times, Jackie, have they had a post plant on the A site and a retake comes through? Was it 4 or 5?
It's got to be. It is absolutely got to be, man. It's insane. At the bare minimum, there's 4 rounds there where you've lost in post plants down to like a 1v2, 1v1. Hurts for Noxy as well. It's one of those where it feels like you hit the hard ones, you're in a position where you can finally close it out and you just get done, right? You don't want to come out of the scope. You want to try and just be ready to hit the shot. And he just outplays you in terms of the movement.
There's that certain kill switch that flips in pro players' minds when they land a bunch of sick shots, like Slacks did it as well on Anubis earlier, and you know that you are like immortal. You can feel you're going to land something truly special, and then you're brought back down to earth. You crater on the ground afterwards. It's such a deflating feeling. But Wildcard have an 8-4 lead. None of that matters anymore. Only this half matters. Bestia, simply put, cannot afford to lose their 4th consecutive pistol round.
They've heard the audio cue. Bit of an old bait and switch. Deco running up close. He knows they're barreling in and needs to lay down the law. Only one. It's not going to be enough to buy time for a faster rotate, and they're grouping up with 3 players towards CT. Luchov looking for the opener.
Did see the ankle is slight around the corner, but it's not going to do anything to deny the bomb plan. Sonic in the meanwhile gets one. He's going to just try and stay alive because he knows he's fending off all the attention. And blink and you'd have missed the end of that round. 4 kills within 2 seconds.
Oh yeah. They're feeling events, living it large, dropping the LFGs. They're in the zone right now, hitting all the heavy hitters. It's crazy how consistent they're looking into these pistol rounds again as well. That's 4 for 4 over the space of 2 maps. Every single pistol has been theirs in this series.
Slight is just passion personified, isn't he?
He loves it, man. He loves it.
It's great to watch. You can see it's also having like reverberating effects on JBA that sat next to him as well. It's like infectious passion. 3rd and final tactical timeout on Bestia though. 4 pistol rounds they have lost in this series. How much that may come back to haunt them.
The bell is beginning to toll. Bestia, do you have anything left? Can you rise back up to this, or is this just Wildcard hitting you with an unstoppable force? Into this round, there's investment into a scout, 5.7s, deagles, and utility. Wildcard have all the added armaments. They've got the nades, they've got the Galils, the MAC-10s on both JBA and Stanislaw to play with the pace.
Well, they were the movable target on the CT side, at least on that A side of the map. Meant to maybe picked. Oh, Noxy did catch a glimpse. He caught a glimpse just for a moment.
Such a spooky one, man. Had the setup for it. Didn't want to play the card, though. Give away the info. Potentially give an opening as well for him to just charge on him. Repositions, take the scout to a new angle, see if you can find another opportunity in a different horizon.
I like the setup, but I'm not sure it's going to see too much action here. The flashbang proceeding to peek from JBA. That's a labored spray, but the bomb's nowhere near. It's all a ruse, forcing main out into the open, so a 1-for-1. However, they haven't seen the bomb either. So although Wildcard are doing their best to sell this and misdirect the CTs, they're not really biting on this. They're sticking on the B side, and that's where the bomb's currently transitioning.
They've stopped on their rotate, trapped towards middle. Luchov really has to be the difference maker here from behind the pillar, but he's pulled apart by Sonic. And Deco can't re-aggress. He's got to wait for his teammates. It's a long rotation towards CT. Oh, Thomas in. He's waiting for the peek up, but it's so off the mark. The Deagle does not deliver, and Sonic has a field day. A follow-up at the end as well to give himself a quad kill in the round and take Wildcard to 10.
Oh, man. You can see the butterfly effect in full swing there. But if Thomasin takes the Deagle shot on Sonic, 4K doesn't come to pass. But it doesn't matter. Deco, in the meanwhile, gets splattered alongside everybody else. And, well, that's pretty much a done deal. You look at the overall score, you look at how things are falling into place for Wildcard. It's hard to see how BESTIA can crowbar their way back into this.
Got to be full Gordon Freeman level crowbar action, Vince. This isn't going to be any easy Home Depot level crowbar action, and they are just getting mauled. They wanted to go for the tank down towards Dark. Last-ditch attempt. You know you have nothing to fight with into this round. Hope that somehow fate goes in your way, but it will not. Clean-up crew action from Wildcard. And now, one round away from series point here. They can lock this down, starve off elimination in the RMR, and have another best of 3 ahead of them tomorrow.
For BESTIA, it is elimination looming, and we were discussing how much of a huge piece of the puzzle Luchov was in terms of him being an aggressive fragger, lending itself heavily to a map like Anubis. He's 3 and 14. He's had a real rough one.
The big shame is a series where you need everyone to be firing. That's been the winning formula for Wildcard. No one's been lagging behind. The entire team has been able to pass the baton of who's going to perform on a round-by-round basis. And Sonic has just been Mr. Consistent.
Posted up near 20 kills on Mirage, 22 so far. Infinite was the only player that had higher ADR at the end of the first map than Sonic. BESTIA in the meanwhile though, missed Molotov over on A main. Was a smoke deployed as well. Setting up 2-player stack. It's interesting to see how BESTIA approach this as opposed to Imperial, who basically just ran Vinny by himself every single round. 2 players in. Luchov's going to get forced out, takes a bit of damage as well, and he may get cut short. Takes a lot of health from Sonic, who throws down the Molotov. He's stuck between 2 mollies at this point. They just slice and dice him. It's JVA's Mac 10, and again Sonic with the entry.
Sonic has just been so smooth. Criminal moves on entry. The M4 rip-roaring, but lips will not be removed here. Mayan turns back in and strikes onto Infinite. Twists it into a 2 versus 2, but slight towards jail. Curtain calls his way through him. It's all on the AWP of Noxy. Lost in the smoke. Left dead by the hands of Stanislaw. Match point, series point now achieved. And Wildcard know how close they are to finishing this one off.
Sonic has about 142 ADR. This isn't some like stomp statistic after 3 or 4-0 of eco-fragging. This is deep into this map around 16-17. He is dropping 140 plus ADR with 23 kills. I haven't even seen what his opening duel stats are. Wouldn't be surprised if he's leading the pack with that and the multi-frags, but it's Slight that kicks this one off. And it may be the beginning of the end.
It's all starting to crumble down now. Reality has firmly dawned in round 17. The 4th run at the RMRs for the BESTIA core, and it again could be a curtain call with them losing out in the Swiss. Whereas Wildcard could stay alive to contend towards the major. Copenhagen could still be calling, but Luchov's Famous might just starve off defeat for one more round. Strikes onto 2, switches to the Kalashnikov, but he's running up into the scope. A fast flick from Slight denies it, and we're back into a 3 versus 3.
5 multi-kill rounds for Sonic, but he is on the bench. Grayed out for the time being. Just shy of a minute on the clock. Stanislaw is starting to pull away, and they haven't really exploited mid too much. so far in these rounds, Wildcard. It's been the extremities. They've done a lot of damage through on the dark side, through on main, on A and B respectively, but a small change, a slight decides to take charge, take point for his teammates. He kicked off the round with the first pick, and it's coming full circle. A site ripe for the taking.
3 frags to his name. Unbelievable impact in this one. Noxy attempting as best as he can to force back the player towards stairs, but knows the real focus has to be the bomb site. You have to pull off this retake or everything goes down with the ship. Deco walks close towards the smoke, waits for his teammate. No nades, you've got to go in dry. JBA set up for the close quarters combat. Slight there to respond from heaven as well. Pre-scope, they've got no info on this.
And that's going to be all she wrote for Bestia in the Americas RMR as they get eliminated. And Wildcard move to a 1-1 after a stellar performance.
They shut it down, finish things off. We said a 2-0 is what they needed, and a 2-0 is what